I'm going to go ahead and call to order this regular monthly meeting of the Cape Girardeau Board of Education and apologize for my voice from the get-go. But it is Monday, December 16th, and the time is 6:07 p.m. Let the record show that all board members are present except for Ms. Langston. And please rise as we pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, board, before us we have an agenda. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Agenda is approved. Up first, we have recognitions. My favorite part of the meeting with terrific Tigers. Each building in the district selects a student based on service to others, leadership, and scholarship. So we're going to announce those out. Parents, we appreciate everything you do in this process as well. So please stand as well to be recognized, and don't be afraid to come up and take your own picture.
Alma Charter Elementary, Braxton Swain, first grade son of Maggie Swain. Braxton is an amazing student and friend. He works very hard every day and pushes himself to improve. Braxton is also kind and respectful to every student and adult in the building. He's a true role model for all. Congratulations, Braxton. Blanchard Elementary, Axel Weaver, first grade son of Chelsea and Joey Weaver. Axel is a truly an exceptional boy. He's not only hardworking, but also sees the best in others, always focusing on the positive and lifting those around him. His presence is magnetic. He lights up any room he enters and makes everyone feel seen, welcome, and loved. Axel's genuine care for others and his ability to create a supportive, inclusive environment make him a true standout. Clifford Elementary, Palmer Underwood, fourth grade son of Abby and Jody Underwood. Palmer follows the rules and encourages others to do the same. He always puts forth his best effort and will happily help others when they need help with their work. He's a great friend to others and a great helper around the classroom. He's a great example of a Clifford terrific Tiger. Way to go, Palmer. Franklin Elementary, Luca Dawson, first grade son of Morgan and Keith Dawson. Luca Dawson is a shining example of kindness, responsibility, and enthusiasm for learning. He consistently demonstrates respect for others, for teachers and classmates, a positive attitude, and a strong work ethic. Luca embodies the values of teamwork and perseverance, making him a role model for his peers. Way to go, Luca. Jefferson Elementary, Nathan Husky, first grade son of Miranda and Jack Husky. Nathan is the perfect candidate for the Terrific Tigers Award. Nathan is an exemplary student who consistently stands out not only for his academic achievements, but also for his work ethic, curiosity, and positive attitude. His enthusiasm for learning is contagious. His leadership skills extend beyond academic achievements. He frequently supports his classmates who may be struggling, offering help without hesitation. He exhibits genuine kindness inside and outside of the classroom. Way to go, Nathan. Central Middle School, Kendrick Moore, fifth grade son of Kevin Moore. Terry W. Kitchen Junior High, Michael Porter, seventh grade son of Stephanie and Michael Porter. Central High School, Delina Diaz, 12th grade son of Darshka and Prativa Diaz. Delina is a very bright student who exemplifies what it means to be a leader. He is helpful, kind, and willing to do what it takes to go above and beyond. While very intelligent, he is still eager to learn more and gives maximum effort every day. Even more important, he is honest and respectful to everyone he comes across. Congratulations. Central Academy, Jaquela McGee, 12th grade son of Laquita Henley. Quaylen is an extremely smart young man and has been accepted into Three Rivers Community College for next school year. He's always willing to help out other students in the classroom and strives to be successful at everything that he does. He has a very big and bright future ahead of him, and CA is very, very proud. And from November, Central Academy, Abigail Thompson.
We may have a clear back row here.
Yeah.
Single file. They know how to work a classroom. They know exactly what to do.
You're saying single file. I know what that's not. We don't know what that is.
You get to be a big kid. There you go, Coleman.
Smile this way. Look at her. Right here. First,
Congratulations, guys.
Good job, guys.
Hey, we've seen you guys here a lot lately. Good job.
I can still got one.
Go make more. Cheers.
Yeah.
Where's everybody going? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Well, we would like to say the same to you.
Yes.
Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Thank-
This year, y'all did a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Mr. Ritter, I thought you were swapping up the order.
Yeah.
Did forget about that. I'm going to announce it after they leave. Yeah, from now on, Terrific Tigers will fall at the end. We discussed it. Yeah.
No, you'd be lucky if they were sleeping.
All right. Up next, we have information, proposals, and comments from the audience. Do we have anyone this month?
Mr. Ritter, I believe that Mr. Matt McDonald, CEO of the Boys and Girls Club, has requested some time to speak to the board.
All right. Well, welcome, Mr. McDonald.
Thanks, guys. I'm Matt with Boys and Girls Club, and I'm just here to say thank you. We have been using that little house across from the junior high as an office for free for almost 20 years. And so I just wanted to come and say thank you for letting us use that space. That was a huge help to our organization. And I have some thank you cards that the kids from Boys and Girls Club made for y'all, which you can pass out later. And just wanted to let you know that we are, as an organization, back and running and getting healthy. And we just passed 150 kids that we serve after school between Cape and Scott City. About half of those are in Cape and half are in Scott City. And you know how it goes with small nonprofits in smaller towns, but I just wanted to let you know that we have new board members, new staff, new programming, and we're excited about what's going on. So thank you for your support. You help with transportation, and you gave us that free office. So that's really all I had to say. I just wanted to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for those curious about how to address the board, request to place an item on the on the agenda or to address the board should be submitted in writing at least 5 days in advance of the regular monthly board meeting. Please submit request to the board secretary, which is Mr. Payne, at Central Administration Office. Constituents who request to address the board are allotted 3 minutes to speak. For more information regarding public participation in board meetings, please see board policies on the district's website. Up next, we have informational reports, board president's report. I don't have much to say. I was going to say Merry Christmas. I should have started with that. But Merry Christmas, Mr. Cook in the back. You too. Appreciate you guys being here. But yes, I'm going to save the rest of my voice, but I did want to mention the long-range plan meetings have begun. Super excited. This is the longest out that our district has looked at a long-range plan, especially for our facilities. So there's external and internal meetings that have started to look at that, and there will in the future be some meetings that are open to the public. So we're excited about gathering all that data, getting a lot of good feedback, and creating that plan that goes along with our CSIP, our continuous school and continued school improvement plan. So thank you. With that, I'll turn over to Dr. Benham for the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Ritter. I just want to kind of start off saying thank you to all of you. This has been a great start to the school year. I know we've had some things that we've had to overcome, but in particular the Central Academy, it's been wonderful. I've appreciated you all at our community meetings and really having some input. That was a great event at Central Academy, and thank you all that were able to attend that. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to remind you. We saw two major projects, the indoor practice facility, which is incredible, and Cape Central Academy. And so we're really excited about both of those and waiting to see what's going to come of all of those things, because this is just the first year. I know it's been the athletic facility has been being utilized just about every day, and now that they're in Central Academy, I'm just really excited about the future for them and the opportunities to expand some programming there. We initiated an awesome partnership with Southeast Missouri State University that resulted in discounted tuitions for our employees, and educators in the entire Southeast region took advantage of that as well, but we were the one that spearheaded that, and Dr. Beck is the instrumental person to really build that partnership, and he's continuing to work with SEMO as well to add additional programming and then also recruiting staff as well. I am reminded all the time of the fact that our school district continues to be a leader in education, as we are committed to providing excellent experiences for our students and staff while maintaining beautiful facilities. And that's what our 10-year plan. Hopefully we'll have some of those things in there as well. The community has always been very supportive of our school district, and as the year comes to an end, I just want to make sure I articulate how thankful I am to be part of the Cape Girardeau Public Schools. I hope our staff members enjoy some much-deserved rest over the holiday break. I think we're all ready for that. We'll get through this week, and everyone will go on break for a little bit. Just a reminder, we will be back in school on January 7th, sorry, professional development for teachers, and the 7th for students. And just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody here as well.
Thank you. All right, up next we have our continuous school improvement plan, CSIP/program evaluations. And up first is Elevate 3. Ms. Talent.
Yes. I'm gonna have to scoot over a little bit here. Yeah. And I will apologize. I too am battling some throat issues, so I'm not as loud as normal. You can ask Dr. Binion about that.
She's loud
Share an
enough.
office. Elevate 3 focuses on family community or family engagement and communication. And one of our action steps within this goal was to establish our family engagement committee. This is actually something I know that we had in the 90s. Somewhere along the way, it fell off the map. So we have resurrected that, and it's definitely much needed, as it's important for us to be listening to our families because we are here to serve them. And so within that committee, we decided that a good place for us to start was to streamline some of our communications efforts, specifically regarding our two-way communications from teachers to families. We found that in some cases, parents were having to download 5 different apps to keep up with all of the things going on within the school district. If they had a student in elementary, there was an app being used. If they had a student in secondary, there were maybe 3 and 4 apps being used. And it just, quite frankly, was pretty chaotic for families to try to keep up with all of the information that was being shared. And so with that, we took that on and we started to look at a number of different apps we settled on Rooms, which is an app, a communications tool that actually is housed within our Cape Girardeau Public Schools app. And so many of our families already had that app downloaded, so we were just able to utilize that app for two-way communications now, just as an added feature. And so we implemented that at the beginning of this school year, and I'm really excited to share some of our numbers as far as it relates to our family engagement. 60% of our families, our guardians, are using that app. Now, if you dig a little deeper into that number, 77% of our students have at least one guardian who is active in the Rooms app. And so that's the number to really focus on. I kind of got caught up on the 60% at first because I'm an A student and like to make good grades. But again, when you look at some of our families may have 4 guardians attached to one student. Realistically, all 4 of those guardians might not be an active participant in two-way communication from teacher to family. We also found through our family engagement committee a situation where a husband and wife, they were sitting in that committee and we were just sharing some feedback on the tool, and the wife caught on that the husband was not engaged in the app and did not have Rooms downloaded. And so that's a prime example of a family who is super actively engaged. Mom handles two-way communication from teacher to family. Dad is actively involved in a number of other ways. So again, that 77% mark is a really good mark, but we can always do better, and we'll continue to try to increase that. Through the first few months of our school year, we had over 37,000 messages sent from our teachers to families. So that's a really good number. What's also good about this is that for the first time, we have this information made available to us. Before, since we had 5 different apps going on, there was no way for us to track how many messages are going out from teachers or coaches to families. Now we have a place where we can track all of that information and hope that we continue to see growth. We also are able to archive those messages. Sometimes we have situations, right, where we may have to go back and check what was said between the teacher and a family member. We're now able to go back and see that information. Everything is archived, it's always saved, and so that's a way to just protect our staff members and our families as they continue to communicate with each other. Alma, Schroeder, and Jefferson have really been champions for the Rooms app. They are very, very actively engaged in it and are using it regularly, but we do have champions within each building, and that's important to point out too. We have some teachers who are really just knocking it out of the park. Feedback that we're hearing from our families: thank you for putting information in one place. Thank you for trying to make it easier, which is definitely what we need to attempt to do when we can. And another thing to keep in mind with this app is that it allows for two-way communication between an English speaker and non-English speaker. And so we certainly did not want for there to be barriers for our families who are not communicating in English as their primary language. We should remove all the barriers for student success, obviously. And so this is just another way for us to make sure that our families who are non-English speaking are able to be actively involved in their child's educational journey. Some of the areas of improvement that we'll be working on over second semester and beyond, we'll hopefully continue to see those user numbers go up on the family side and on our staff side. We'll be working with the company to roll out new features that families maybe liked about other apps. An example of that, families have shared that they would really like to get a text when they have a new message. Now, you do get a push notification if you've signed up for that, but some people, again, we all like to communicate in different ways. Some people just want that text reminder that they have a new message, and so that is something the company is looking to roll out after the new year. Another feature that our elementary families really missed was being able to like pictures or react to pictures that are shared within those classrooms, and so that is something that that Rooms is working on to roll out after the first of the year as well. One thing that I know we need to work on, it was brought to my attention that we do have a couple of clubs and organizations still using other apps. And so we'll address that moving forward. Change is hard, we know that, and so we will get there. So our program goals to continue success of this, increase our active rate, continue to support staff and families as they get familiar with the app, increase professional development opportunities for our staff. So I put this as above average because I do commend our school district for actually making the effort to streamline communications for families. This is not a priority in every school district. And so I think that it's something that definitely should be commended that you guys have supported this. Our friends just up the road in Farmington are going to follow suit, and they're actually switching over to rooms at the semester. And so, of course, we'll be there to support them through that transition. Do you have any questions on Elevate 3? Okay. We'll move on to Elevate 4, which focuses on community engagement. We're not as quite as far along in this one as Elevate 3. We're still kind of in the beginning phases of this, but this focuses specifically on intentionally expanding our partnerships. And we worked on getting feedback specifically from our ABC Today network partners on how we could enhance our relationships with our established partners. And we really saw two themes come out of that feedback. The first was that they really wanted more opportunities to volunteer, whether that be alongside staff in buildings or interaction with the students, or projects maybe that they're taking on together. And the other thing was streamlining our donation request, which is proving to be a challenge. That can be tough when we're all fighting for kind of the same donors. So strengths of our community engagement efforts or programming. ABC Today Network, I cannot say enough about this program. I was blown away when I came back here to Cape Public Schools and saw this established network from an external partner that is organizing all of our community businesses and making sure that we have one bank associated with the school over here, that there aren't two banks at one school, or there aren't maybe just, three churches. They're really trying to spread kind of the different businesses to each building, which I think is very thoughtful in that. And also the fact that they are always looking for meaningful ways to make connections within our buildings. Specifically, again, we talk about just the writing the check, and we want people's money. I mean, we definitely want people's money. But also, we want that connection because we say all the time we're a school community, and we mean that. We want for people to feel not just invested monetarily, but we want for them to feel truly invested in that they're being able to give back. And so that's something that ABC Today Network just does so beautifully for us, is that they're very thoughtful in how they make those assignments, and they're very thoughtful in how they're continuing to kind of enhance those partnerships for us. One of our main concerns, again, coming back to this, that we kept hearing is just streamlining our donation request. And so one thing we've done, we've met a couple of times our Booster Club, our foundation, Care to Learn, and also the ABC Today Network, because those are kind of our main fundraising arms. Getting everybody in one room and just first off being aware of the resources that are offered within each of those organizations, and making sure that when we're going out that we're not really stepping into somebody else's lane asking for a donation that could be available, that a resource is already available. So we've had some good conversations with that group, and I think that just organically we'll be able to hopefully streamline some of the requests just by everybody being aware of what's already available. So moving forward, we'll continue to work with our principals to create more meaningful volunteer opportunities. Another goal, just bringing in more businesses as we have new businesses and organizations move in, making sure we find the right place for them. And then just overall general promotion of our school district is a goal. Again, as we are making people aware of who we are and what we do, we all believe here that they'll want to be involved in that. And so that's something that we just need to make sure we continuously do. So rating our community engagement efforts to date, I would say above average, even though I really think it is excellent, but I didn't feel right this being the first time as grading it as saying it was excellent, because then we don't really have a lot of room for growth. And so we're above average there, but it's a high above average. Any questions?
A plus plus.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Up next, we have Learn 2 with Mr. Russell.
All right, this is the second part of Learn 2. Took a couple more months for us to get the data back from the state for APR than we expected. But we got it the day of the last board meeting. And so just to make sure that everything was accurate, we postponed it just a little bit. And so I'm really happy to talk about APR this year. We've made some really awesome strides across just about every building, and so in every department. And so, so our district APR, our overall score, we saw a 4.5% increase, which is above our 3% goal for the year. And this is our first real year data with that. And you'll see later it's actually a 4.49, but we'll round it up. And so really excited for that. And so just wanted to share some of the highlights and then some of the growth areas that go along with that. First part is our areas of strength, and that is math. Showed a so just to back up for a second. If you remember, there's different types of scores on the APR, right? For academics, you have the growth scores, and then you have the status scores. And so you'll see here in a minute, status did not change across the district, but we saw awesome areas of growth, and that's what these are. And so I'm going to look at two screens here because my glasses are not on my face. So, all right. So as you guys can see, math across all students and our student subgroups grew across the district, and this is a holistic number. This is the district-wide numbers. In social studies, so social studies really is district-wide, but it's the high school, right? They've made some awesome changes and shifts in how they kind of look at government. And then this year we were even redoing that some more, and so really excited to see what they do. Attendance, we gained a point, which is out of, I think it's 3 out of 4 points we've got now instead of 2 out of 4, and really excited about those numbers. And I say I'm looking at two screens at one time, but I cannot do both of them. We did see some areas of loss in ELA, and it was, let's see here. So it looks larger than what it actually is. We barely changed, but because of where it was in comparison to the average of the state, the way they do scores, it looks bigger than what it is. So it's 2.6 points, but that swings like 5% from where we were last year, from one side to the other. Science is area concern, and you'll see that here in a minute, across the entire state. The entire state is below 40% and getting closer to 35%. And so we're all watching that one and looking at ways with science curriculum. We've already started a year early, kind of having those discussions about where we want to go and some of those changes that are being made. What's really cool is biology is already starting that rise. They've been consistently increasing, and so working to change some of those things at 5th and 8th grade as well. All right, areas we can grow. Obviously, our achievement status, our overall scores did go up about 2%, but again, that wasn't enough to move the needle for those points to get recouped. Other places are CCR assessments, ACT, work keys, ASVAB, our scores on those, and then a number of students who, we get to take those tests. We already give all of these tests for free, but we still have a few who don't.
That's it for college and career readiness. What's CCR?
Yep, college and career.
Or previous Clearwater Revive.
That's my preference, but yeah.
Fair enough.
Attendance, obviously, we can get that extra point back, and then graduate follow-up. Seems like we're always 1 or 2 students off of getting in contact with one or two of those students, and it's just, you never know where that's going to end up until we get that back. And actually, if I remember right, that's actually going to be a lagging indicator moving forward. So this may even be looking at last year's, because we scored exactly the same, but it's, they changed APR just a little bit this year. All right, so here's our overall scores. You can see over on the right-hand side, the difference from the previous year. You saw, like I said earlier, we've had no change this year on these status scores. And then talking about some of those places we can see some need for some, we've got some opportunities for some growth. But we also, you can see, look at that math, all students in students group, just huge growth there. Really like seeing that, and they're just getting started. This is second year of implementation, making some big changes, having really great conversations with those departments in those buildings. Here's the next set is our CCR, some of those graduation follow-ups. We did get some new points this year for our LEA response to standards. This is something that we have to do along with CSIP every year, in that just about everybody got those scores if they turn that in. And so that's
What does LEA mean?
Local Education Agency. Yep, that's us.
That's us, for them.
There's no band that I know of called LEA.
Now you could.
Very obscure band.
Again, here's some more of some. This is just more of the same data, so that you guys could see it. And there's our 4.49% here at the bottom. Some building highlights. So moving from the district APR down to the building APR. Blanchard still remains highest status in all areas. Again, always overperforming. But even they're making some changes and getting better. Franklin has made some huge changes in some of the things that they've done. They've seen massive growth this year, more than doubling their score over the last 2 years, both years. And so a lot of that is a lot of hard work with looking at data and students. Same thing at Clippard, and making some changes into instruction. Teachers going and getting some PD, and it's really rocking. Almost Schroeder remained on track in 3 of their 4 areas. We've got a subgroup that we're watching and making some changes for. And then Jefferson grew in all areas, more than almost as much as Franklin in some areas, but they after COVID they went down, but they have more than regained, and that's just about every single school has gotten back to where they were above COVID, and so or after COVID. All right, so that was elementary, secondary. High school grew in every area. And especially in social studies, like I said earlier, they're on track in 6 out of 8 areas. 2 of those are subgroups, and we've already we've begun talking about how we're going to work with some of those subgroup areas. Same thing with junior high. In their math, they've been making some great strides and working with ELA to do the same. And then middle school is pretty much stayed the same across the board. Working with ELA. For that, and you'll see that here on the next slide, which is our it's on the next slide. Almost Schroeder, they've slipped just a little bit since COVID, and working to get back on track with them. And then with CHS, we've got an ELA student group. That's really the only thing that held them back this year was that subgroup in ELA. Their ELA has actually been growing every year. They were above state average last year and just were barely below it this year. And still very proud of them and where they're at.
Jamie, at a super high level.
Yeah.
Like the difference between a student group and all students,
Sure.
in a nutshell, is?
I was wondering the same.
Yeah, that's the fun one to look up the definition to, because it says any indication of about 12 different standards of groups. What we figured out, it's most closely related to our numbers of SPED and numbers of black students, not necessarily together or mixed, but it's somewhere around those numbers. And so that could be different for every school district because every school's demographics looks different. But that's
Free and
kind of
reduced
where
lunch,
ours are.
There's several indicators.
And so,
Both.
but it can be both.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't tell us.
Oh, you don't know?
No, when they.
Not
yeah.
specifically.
Okay.
No. We're guessing at what our groups
Yeah,
are.
ours is probably, because we're targeted in 2 of those areas.
That's right.
Just so are you talking about targeted? I don't
Nope,
mean-
not yet.
Oh, sorry.
I'm getting ahead of
Oh,
you. Sorry, I'm just
yeah.
trying to see those
We're targeted.
terms just keep happening.
Yeah, so-
In the
so-
high school
I
and the
wanted
junior
to-
high.
We
still.
are targeted for at the junior high and at the high school for our black students. So we know that it's related to that. But that's not a just them problem. That's an everybody problem and the system problem. And so we're working toward having conversations about that. We just got that report 3 or 4 weeks ago. I can't remember. And so we're working toward.
We are working out of the targeted status. When you see
Yeah.
that the students are improving on their academics, that means that we are going to be, after 2 years, a cycle of 2 years consistently improving, then you can work yourself out of the targeted status.
Yeah, we've been stuck on targeted status since before COVID. COVID messed it up, and so
And
we've
then
got
they
to
kind of did away with it, and
Yeah,
now they're
it is.
back talking about targeted status, so they put us back where we were.
And targeted just means somebody's watching it and thinks you should improve it.
Yes, but-
Yeah, you're not making the targeted gains that they require you to. I think it's 3.9 in math, and I don't know what the 4.7 in ELA or something like that. It used to be. I don't know what it's been a while since I've looked at it.
Well, and they've changed. There's, instead of 3 levels now, there's now 4 levels.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and that's part of that conversation as well. So what do we do moving forward with those students? So areas of lost science is across the board is one of the issues, like I said, across the state. But for us, it's how do we react to that? How do we make changes? And so that's why we're starting science early for this year, for the next year. Let's see here. Again, like I said, CHS ELA is I think supposed to be CMS ELA. That was an error on my part. So CMS ELA, junior high ELA, junior high math, even though they grew this year quite a bit, they've got room to grow. Same thing with Jefferson. Jefferson's, like I said, they've hugely grown, but they've got more room to be able to grow. And then one of the things that you guys always ask is, okay, what about everybody else, right? And so we've got Cape County here, and where they've scored ranked by their percentage of points, and then over to the right side, how much growth that is from year to year. So that's just from 2023 to 2024. Wow. We've grown 4.5% just in the single year, and so we've made the most gains this year in the county amongst the 5 school districts. We don't count Advance's like 200 acres that they have in our county, but everybody else we put in there. And so I really loved seeing this because I didn't even know that it was this way until I threw it up there on the.
You want to talk a little bit about why there's a different point differential?
Yes, so obviously Nell Holcomb is a totally different type of school than we are. They're a K-8 school. They don't have a CTC, those types of things. Same thing with Jackson. They don't house the CTC there, and so their points are a little bit different than ours. That's why we have more. But that means it's also harder for us to gain percentage points than it is for them. And so even with that, we still outpaced them this year. And so really excited about that. And we talked about some of those significant areas where we can gain points. We can even gain more from that. So statewide, I looked at a couple of different things. One was enrollment, which you can see there on the right-hand side. The other was I looked at schools that had a free and reduced lunch above 75%, and then students that they had a student makeup, similar demographics to ours. Now I made that rather wide because no schools look like us, right?
Yeah.
And so that left us with these 6 schools, including ourselves. So Carthage, Sykeston, Hickman Mills, Riverview Gardens, Grandview, all wildly look different, right? But that's kind of where we fall with them. And that's kind of who we are closest compared to as far as our demographics are concerned in our enrollment. And so, I showed you some crazy looking charts over the last couple of years. We're still right smack dab in the middle of everybody. Where we were last year, that didn't change a whole lot. And so, as far as statewide is concerned, but I did want to share those comparables with you. And then we've already talked about MapELC, so a couple months ago. So I just wanted to reshare that with you guys, so you could go back and see that again. And if you guys have any questions about that or any more about it, I'll be glad to answer.
Any further questions for Mr. Russell? Thank you. Up next, we have English Language Learners, ELL, and Parents as Teachers with Ms. Keys. ELL.
Okay, so the English Learner Program is now EL program instead of ELL, but coming soon it might be changing to ML for multilingual learner. So they like to change it up, every couple of years, so we'll see what comes next. I'm not sure why all the spacing is off on this. It wasn't when I did it, so sorry about that. Cost of the program, the budget that we're allowed to spend within the program is the $38,000, but we also have 5.5 staff members. We added an additional full staff member in 22-23. For those of you that were here then, you see the big jump that we had from 2021 to 22-23 in students, and that continues to move up. In 2 years, we've added another 4 students, give or take. So our programming continues to increase with our students. We do have a technology program that will help us scaffold language acquisition for support for our students. We've also done a lot of increased collaboration and teamwork within the EL department. We meet together monthly, and it says this later, but they're also providing professional development within their buildings, which is really, we have found to be the most productive. I think that our general education teachers are feeling more comfortable in providing accommodations and modifications to meet our students' needs, whereas before I think they weren't quite sure what to do. So I feel like that's a really positive piece of the program. We do have a translation service called AccuTrans, but this year we also added translation devices. They're smaller than a phone. They're about this big, about that wide. And they translate, like if I'm talking to you, it will translate like as we're talking in Spanish, and then as you speak in Spanish, it will translate back to me in English. It's not perfect because the syntax of the languages are different, but it does a pretty good job, and that has helped us tremendously. We can also use it when we go on home visits. It does have to be connected to Wi-Fi, so we figured out we have to do a hotspot on the phone, our phones, to make it work. There was a little problem solving to figure that out. But it has really helped make sure that we're communicating effectively with our families who do not speak English as a first language. Let's see, we continue to work on curriculum needs. Like I said, our professional development is growing, and before we had Tracy Rutherford, who was producing all over, or not producing, giving professional development all over at local and state levels, and now Victoria Kissel, who is our EL teacher at the junior high, is doing all of that. So she brings back lots of good nuggets for us, and we hear a lot of positives about what she's doing as well. I also wanted to just add on to what Ms. Talent was saying about the Rooms platform. With the Rooms platform, we can now communicate with our families in their home language, and they can do it via text. So I had a parent walk in here one day pretty upset, and her son was trying to translate for us, and he didn't want to say what she was saying. And he was like looking at me like, and I was like, it's okay, just say it, it's okay. But I was able to show her how to get on and do the Rooms app, because she didn't feel like she was getting good communication with the teacher, but the teacher was communicating with her. And so through that, she was super thankful, really excited, and I said, please go tell everybody else that you know that is struggling with the same thing. So that has been a game changer for us. Basically, we can text in English, and whatever they choose as their home language, they receive it in their home language. They can respond back in their home language, and then we'll receive it in English. So like I said, that's been a game changer. One thing I would like to do better with that is, and this will just help all around, is at our parent-teacher conferences, because we do have a high number of our families who have EL students that attend conferences, to have a table set up with somebody that can help them. And I think that will just help all of our parents. Some people did that this year, but we really want to make sure we're targeting our EL parents to get signed up for that. Concerns that we have, obviously, there's a transient nature to our families. We have diverse needs of all of our families and students. The ability to actively involve EL families in our school culture, it has proven to be difficult, although I think that Rooms has helped with that, because when schools are sending out messages, or when Kristen sends out a message district-wide, it automatically, again, converts to their home language. The only thing that it doesn't do right now is if you create something pretty on Canva and you attach it, it doesn't translate that. So that's kind of difficult, because you don't want to ask the teachers to do two things, but also they want it to be appealing so that parents look at it. So we're still trying to figure that out. We continue to have students who are qualifying as both EL and require special education services, which is a little bit difficult to figure out sometimes. And then we have continued to have a significant increase in newcomer students, meaning they speak no English. They may have come from out of the country, and they may not have had any schooling prior to coming to us. So just working through how do we provide them more intensive services while still meeting the needs of the other students in our district. Program goals, we want to continue to expand our classroom collaboration and provide good professional development. We want to continue to provide professional development to our EL teachers as well, and then just providing cultural support to our EL families. One of the things that we just trialed recently is we did buy some big iPads for registration, where families can take a picture of it, of the online registration part, and then it will translate it for them, and then they can respond. The difficulty has been that some don't know how to respond in English, so we're still trying to figure out that piece. So it's like every time we feel like we're taking a step forward, we realize we're missing something, but I do feel like we're making progress in that area. Tina Wright is going to go out this summer, and we've had some staff members from LaCroix, as well as some of our EL teachers who have agreed to go out this summer and disseminate information in some of the areas of Cape Girardeau, where many of our families who speak English as a second language live, go to some of our restaurants, and give out information in their home language about registration, about what they need to do to get online, about how long it will take, about rooms, so that we can try to be more actively engaging our families. So overall, I think that our EL program is above average. I do talk to other local districts about their programs, and we by far are the best staffed, and we're still growing. So I'm really proud of what our teachers are doing. Any questions about the EL program?
Would you say it's above average plus or above average plus plus?
What did I put?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We'll have a plus in there.
I'm mocking Miss Talent at this point. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're above average plus.
Okay, very good. Excellent.
How many, you might not know exactly, it's fine, but about how many other languages are there happening?
So we have 6 that are the most used.
Wow.
I
Even
think
that's a
maybe
lot.
8 right now. Like, we have some one-offs.
Sure.
We have some one-offs. I think we're at 14.
Oh, we're at 14?
Yes, total.
The major ones are
Spanish, of
Chinese,
course.
Spanish, Chinese, Vietnamese, Urdu.
And what was the 5th one we translated?
Filipino.
Yes, those are our top 5.
What was the last one you said?
Filipino.
Oh, yep, okay.
But most of our others are like 1,
Yep,
yes.
okay.
And then there are languages that
Don't have a written language.
spoken,
Yeah,
So,
or, not written, sorry.
Chicano, which is a dialect of Spanish, is not a written language. So
Okay.
you can translate it into Spanish, but whether or not they know how to read that is questionable. Okay, we're trying,
Yeah.
we really are trying. And I found out that Urdu actually is the opposite direction.
To right to left.
To right, it's right to left, and so
Oh.
I was trying to translate, and Jim's like, I was like, this isn't making sense. And he's like, because it's a right to left language. I said, okay. So we corrected that, but yeah.
Well, this is gonna show my ignorance, so I'm honestly embarrassed to even ask, but what country do you come from to speak Urdu?
Mainly India. It's a
Okay,
southern Asian language, mostly of what would have been the upper class hundreds of years ago.
Okay.
Social studies lessons.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Cliff Clavin.
Oh, don't know,
She's
okay,
kinda like
good.
Cliff Clavin a
Makes me
little
feel better.
You want him on the trivia team.
Just dumb
Yeah.
people ask questions.
Please prep me with your questions prior to the meeting.
Yeah. He's gonna whisper them to you next time.
Okay, moving on to parents as teachers. This one is so fun because we get to do kindergarten screenings here every year, and sometimes parents will want to meet here, like after they get off work and do their lesson here, so they get to come into my office, and it is my favorite time of day when they do that. But we have 2 full-time parents as teachers staff. This shows you the number of students we've served through the years. We took a big hit after COVID. You'll see that 105 in 21, 22 doesn't look terrible, but we were able to do virtual visits at that time. When we went back to really trying to do in-home visits so that we could get that face-to-face, you'll see that our numbers dropped. So we are working on getting those numbers back up. I feel good about the direction that we're moving. You'll see that we have been able to complete a large number of screenings. And what we do each year is somebody from the state level, parents as teachers, reaches out to me and they talk about like how we did on our program and what types of goals that we should set for ourselves. So one of the things that they really wanted us to do was make sure that all the money that they're offering us, that we're spending every dollar of it, which we always want to do, right? So that you'll see the goals coming on that. You see the total cost of our program there is about $986. Parents as Teachers has been actively promoting their program. We have seen that decline since COVID. We have seen families less likely to want you to come into their homes, so that's why we've started doing some office visits. We're hoping that when we get the new early childhood space, parents as teachers will have their own space over there, so as much as I will miss them coming into my office, they will have their own space to do visits. So we're starting to see some recovery, and we're excited about that. We've also been partnering with early childhood and JE Pre-K. So if you ever attend any of those events, you'll see our parents as teachers, educators at both of those events, trying to get more students because we can double serve, but also just trying to get their name out in the community because many of our families who have kids at ECC and Pre-K have other younger kids under 5, which could be served by parents as teachers as well. So strengths of our programming, screening and early interventions have increased. We do screenings from 4 months to 5 years, and we do that every couple months. You'll see a community screener that we'll post. Also super fun, especially when those tiny ones don't want to leave their parents for the screening. We do kindergarten and pre-K screenings to help us provide support early in our students' educational careers. So we're able to screen students before they start kindergarten to be able to provide supports right off the bat if we think they're going to need it. And then for our students who are in pre-K, we're able to evaluate or to screen them as well at the beginning and end to help show growth and also in preparation for kindergarten. We've been doing group meetings at various locations. Like I said, we partnered with early childhood and pre-K to do their family nights, which has been super fun. They also attend parent-teacher conferences at ECC and pre-K, and they will go to back-to-school events at different schools, kind of pop in and leave flyers and things for all of our families. They do complete at least 20 hours of professional development each year, but that often goes over that because they like to learn new things. They also partner with our local library for events. New this year, we have not been offering summer visits. We did offer summer visits this summer, and several of our families accepted, so we're very excited about that. And then Stephanie Ellinger, who's our lead parent educator, she has become a Missouri Parent Education Program Support Consultant. That's a big title for DESE. And so she is also not only growing our program, but she's helping other districts who need help growing their program by giving them guidance. So we're really proud of her for that. Concerns continue to be the lower number of students that we're able to reach. If you've been following any of the data that is been circulating about our need for childcare in Cape, it shows you that obviously we have access to 2 full-time people that could be serving kids in their homes. So we have a lot of kids that could be served that aren't being served. So we're trying to figure out better ways that we can promote our programming so that even if kids are in home with their parents, that parents are interested in letting us see their kids to just give them some developmental tips and support them. Safety of educators doing in-home visits has also been a concern. Just as safety in our community has been a concern. I'll just kind of leave it there because they do home visits all over Cape and into the evenings. So we try to help our parents by doing home visits in the evenings, but we also have to limit that in some situations as well. So, and then again, transient nature of our community. Also, there have been other programs previously in the city that were able to provide incentives for participation. They were also court mandated to attend. And then they got incentives for every community event that they attended as well. So we are not able to do that at this time. So we're looking for some partnerships within the community that maybe we can provide some incentives to get more people to come in. Our goals. We want to reach at least 515 families to get total reimbursement. That's our visits part of total reimbursement. We have high needs families and low needs. So a high needs family, you have to hit a certain number of indicators for a student to be considered high needs. And it would take 550 to meet that, or a number where you kind of balance it out between high needs and low needs. So the goal that I've set for the staff is 65 high needs visits or a combination of high and low each quarter. We want to increase our in-home complete screenings. So those complete screenings take quite a long time. So it takes more than one session to complete, especially for the really little kids. So just pushing our staff to try to make sure that they get at least 90% of our students served completely screened. Continuing to increase our group meetings, printing and displaying, distributing flyers, and then working with community leaders, like I said, for parent participation. Again, I do feel like as far as the services that our staff are providing, that we have an above average program. I still don't think that we're meeting all the needs in the community, so just trying to figure out how to better do that. Any questions about parents as teachers? Okay.
Thank you. All right, up next we have academic services report. We're taking a look at several course prospectuses with Mr. Russell, I believe. Up first, we have the prospectus for historic interest studies. The recommendation here is to approve the new course prospectus for historical interest studies for Central High School. Can I get a motion to that regard?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, discussion.
So the first thing we got up here is historic interest studies. This is a new course for the high school. I'm really excited about this as a former social studies teacher. Yeah.
There we go.
So this course is one that is you know, a lot of times in history class you're stuck with the course and sequence of events and you know, generic history class. This allows students and the teacher to lead students into deeper discussion on social studies using some of those core social studies skills of research skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving, that you know they'll see in college, they'll see in life, and to be able to be you know, good thinkers in the future. And so and by looking at the past. And so really excited about this class. And hopefully you guys will let us do it.
Any questions? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That is approved. Up next, we have the prospectus for a new course, separating housing and interior design into two separate courses, housing and construction and interior design. So the recommendation there is to approve the new prospectus separating housing and interior design course into two separate classes, as I just mentioned. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, discussion.
So this course is exactly what it says. We're taking a single course and splitting it into two, just for function, and not gonna be a whole lot of changes here and there, other than a couple titles on some classes. You guys want to read through that? It's current courses that course we've had for forever.
Interior design we've offered forever. Housing and construction we have not. But Mrs. Vines was wanting to split so that there can be feels she's squeezing in way too much into one semester, kids are getting overwhelmed. And housing and construction may be more of an interest to our male students. Also, I mean, obviously females should take it also, but it'll be more on the actual construction of a home. Whereas interior, you know what interior design is. Look at the interior of the home.
All right, any questions? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes. And lastly, regarding AP Psychology, we have a recommendation to approve the new course Perspectives for AP Psychology for Central High School. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fagley, discussion.
More social studies? No, this is, we've had an AP class for years and years, and this is, our teachers really, and our students really wanted to push into a little bit harder material with AP and cover more, and so this offers them the ability to do that. And I know that they've been talking about it since before we started redoing curriculum, and just needed a little bit more time with the curriculum rewrite to be able to do it.
Ms. Hyder is wanting to do something, she is actually currently going to get enough credit hours so she can maybe even do dual credit with it, depending, so she'll have to go back and take two classes. But she's willing to do that, and if we have enough students sign up for it, there should be room in the schedule to offer another opportunity for our kids.
That's awesome.
All right.
That was the only question I was gonna ask, is if you offered it as dual credit, but you answered that.
Yeah, right now we have to have, and she's willing, she's the one who actually came to me and she told me exactly how to do it. Which is good, because she's good at that. So she was gonna go, she had already looked into classes and with that, she wants to try and get it inexpensive as possible. I think she has it all worked out.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? They pass. Thank you. Up next, we have a Yonder update. Dr. Beck.
Yeah, I'll be brief. Just many of you know the last 2 years we've implemented the Yonder program that started in the spring semester at Central High School. This year we implemented Yonder, cell phone free learning environment at both buildings, both Central High School and the junior high. I conduct a 7-question certified staff survey that kind of follows the Likert scale model, which ranges anywhere from strongly disagree to strongly agree, and then everything that falls in between. This year, surveying both those buildings, I've attached the results to the PDF here. I'm not going to read every one of these, but I'll do a quick breakdown. Question 1 focuses on the product reducing classroom distractions. 93.3% of staff either combinedly, when you put the totals together, agree or strongly agree with that comment. Improved engagement by students, 91.7% agree, strongly agree. Positive social interaction, 96.7% agree or strongly agree with that. Teacher effectiveness being increased capacity due to implementing that program, 88.3% agree, strongly agree. Focused learning environment, 96.7%, same results. Learning or increased higher levels of learning and teaching levels in the classroom, 85% agree, strongly agree. And then the last one is kind of the culminating, encompasses all, higher view question is, did it make a positive impact overall? And 93.3% of staff either agree or strongly agree with that comment. So I think it's been a great investment into student learning at both of our buildings. Just to give you kind of an idea of what that investment's looked like over the last 2 years, I've got those numbers for you. So when we started this program at the high school, that was $28,050, and that was a leasing program at that time. When we started this year, we bought out all of that equipment, and then we implemented at the junior high school, and that was $22,600 at CHS and $20,700 at Terry W. Kitchen Junior High, for a total of $71,496 over the last 2 years. So by no means an inexpensive program to maintain, but we do own all of that product at this time. and we're overstocked with our inventory with pouches moving forward. So feel really good about where we're at and the investment you guys have allowed us to make at those two buildings.
Dr. Beck, I'm no expert, and I know this is an anonymous survey, but I have a sneaking suspicion that there's one person who strongly disagrees with all of this.
You would be correct. There's that one person at both buildings.
Okay.
Based on the results.
And how is this the second time you've done this survey? We've
So-
seen these results one other time.
Yeah,
Do you know about, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but how have those changed? I would almost suspect when the first survey came out, maybe it was higher, but do you know if it was, these results have changed since the first survey?
So I can't speak to exact percentage changes. What I can tell you is it's pretty comparable overall.
It is? Okay.
Between the effectiveness
Well,
ratings.
last time there was one person that strongly disagreed.
Yeah.
Last time, that's why it kind of
Yeah.
sparked my memory, but I didn't know if it changed much at all.
What I did notice, the difference
Probably.
this time that was pretty significant difference was it was a lot lower response rate.
Okay.
That's
To
what
the
I was
survey.
gonna ask,
Oh.
how many people should have taken the survey?
Right,
If
so if
we
you're-
had 100%,
Yeah, if you're looking between high school to junior high, you're looking somewhere in the neighborhood of 120, 130
Okay.
certified staff members. We're getting about 50% this
Mm-hmm.
round on the response rate for that. But it's like anything else, when something's new and it's a hot topic and everybody's talking about it.
That's why I would almost suspect the first survey would maybe have a higher percentage of agreeing with it, but it makes sense that there's fewer people willing to do the survey the second time.
Right. And not to put her on the spot, but Ms. Scheller is here. If you have anything additional you'd like to add about Yonder.
We need it. And I don't know if the response is, I think we're used to it now, when we see a phone, we are astounded, right? And we just don't see it anymore. So I'm not sure my people are responding, because it's been steady. And it's awesome. So we appreciate that. Just the interactions, I don't think you can put into data the interactions that the kids have, the communication that the kids have, the less drama that occurs because they're not there. We unfortunately had an altercation and no phones out, which only heightens the drama. So that data isn't going to show up in everything that we pull.
And if you haven't made a special trip to the high school for a lunch session where you will see no cell phones and high school kids are all talking to one another, that's worth the trip alone.
Yeah.
So.
Come eat with us.
Well, and some of this isn't surprising. We kind of talked before about the idea that this was seemingly, Yonder was a pathway to a culture change in terms of acceptability of cell phones in a classroom. And to me, at some point, this becomes far less about Yonder and more about appropriate cell phone behavior. And if you don't need a Yonder pouch to exhibit appropriate cell phone behavior, then ultimately the Yonder pouch becomes somewhat irrelevant, but was a pathway to kind of getting to where we are and culture changing. So it sounds super positive. So thank you, Ms. Scheller and the staff and, the team here in administration for going this direction. It seems like a total huge win.
Yeah.
Absent two people. Strongly disagree.
We'll work on them.
And honestly, I mean, Dr. Binion, you can speak more to this as well. It's not only a state problem, it's a national problem.
And you're seeing
with-
that
You're seeing
shift
it, yeah.
across the country where more and more districts are doing exactly what we're doing. We just did it a little early, which show us.
You're seeing more locally make some of these
Yeah.
shifts as well. We talked to several districts about what the outcomes have been. So.
Last year, I spoke on the Junior Achievement Panel right before Yonder Initiative, where I famously told the audience I would not hire any of them because they were all on their phones. I spoke, I said that from stage. And this year, I spoke on the panel again. It was quite refreshing. I had eyeballs looking back at me. So, all right, thank you. Up next, we have our Community Teachers Association report. Mr. Lappy, welcome back.
I think. Is it on?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so we'll get some shout outs going, and let's get this rolling. So at Alma Schroeder, shout out to Miss Gentry. She led the second graders in a wonderful performance on Thursday night. The program was called ARF on the Housetop, and the students were amazing, so it was pretty fun. At Blanchard, the shout-outs go to Jessica Pattengill and all her helpers for all of her hard work setting up and organizing the holiday store and snow glow party. A shout-out to Dr. K for always supporting her staff and teachers. She is an outstanding leader. Shout-out to Shannon Clubb for leading the social committee and all her hard work on the school newspaper. Tara Bova for her fabulous technology skills that she uses to enhance the students' learning and serves as an asset to the Blanchard News team. Cal Ainsworth for the extra work she puts in to have her students enter the art show downtown. She has such incredible talent and is always willing to share that talent with her students. They can do such unbelievable things with her guidance. Shout out to Sherry Meyer. She is the go-to for all the things. Then this person said they'd be lost without her. At CAO, someone gave a shout out to Colleen Reese. She has been very helpful and knowledgeable regarding all things insurance and benefits. She was also able to help me, this person, get an insurance claim filed and paid within 48 hours. So they really appreciated that. At Central Academy, shout out to the amazing middle school and junior high team, Miss Brookins, Miss Thomas, and Miss Mills for always providing the students with engaging lesson plans and fun activities to keep them happy and on their toes. These ladies are also the definition of teamwork as they help and encourage one another each and every day. Shout out to Miss Burley for providing JAG students with enriching and educational opportunities in the community on field trips. Miss Burley also trains students to work in the JAG student store, which allows I'm assuming middle school and junior high students to cash in positive incentive dollars for goodies. At Clippard, shout outs to Miss Annika Nelson, a SPED teacher, continues to go above and beyond for all her students. She supports her fellow colleagues and regular ed teachers. Thank you for being such a great resource to us all. A huge thank you to our custodians that make our building look amazing. Shout out to Miss Paige Goodman, the SLP, who is stepping up to do training for the TAs so that they feel more comfortable using LAMP with some of our students. Miss Laura Pletcher, our behavioral interventionist, who continues to support our students and staff. She's been a great addition to our staff. Mr. Moore, who led the second graders in a great Christmas performance. At the CTC, shout out to Mr. Brandon Bradshaw, Miss Carol LeGrand from the Early Childhood Center, Miss Michelle Stoverink, medical assistant, and Miss April Garner, ECC, for adding 2 new occupations as registered youth apprenticeship in partnership with Cape Public Schools and St. Francis as employers. At the Early Childhood Center, this person writes, "It's a holly jolly time at the ECC this season. Miss Megan's class organized a thankful turkey bulletin board so we could give thanks for one another. Miss April organized a turkey game that got the competitive spirits rolling. For Christmas, we have a Secret Santa in full swing thanks to Miss Sarah and Miss Ashton. Miss April is keeping us full of spirit with a calendar full of fun. I hear scavenger hunt is also in the works. Merry Christmas from ECC." At Franklin, shout out to Miss Haar and Miss Federhoff for creating our new after-school musical group. Let me make sure. Syncopation. Sounds good. The ensemble rehearses every week and has performed during our school concerts. Thank you for offering this exciting opportunity for our students. At the high school, shout out to Nita DuBois. She received the NAACP Dr. Spicer Excellence in Education Award. Also, John Daniels, the art students painted skateboards that are displayed at Sick Tricks. Way to connect with the community. At Jefferson, shout out to Miss Courtney and Miss Olivia for helping our special needs students at the Christmas concert. They helped those students have a magical and fun experience. They are some amazing and hard-working ladies. Also, Miss Austin, she had our 3rd and 4th grade concert that was a night at the movies, and it really was amazing. Miss Razor also got a shout out. She always helps with SPED dismissal. We obviously have a lot every single day, and this person said she's very appreciated. The shout out also goes to the pre-K staff. They coordinated a wonderful evening for families to attend a gingerbread night. Over 100 attended. Mrs. Claus attended the evening, which helped make it even more magical. Many families stopped to thank us as they were leaving, sharing about how much they enjoyed the night. It was a great event for family involvement. At the junior high, Mrs. Garcia for getting done with about 10 IEPs between the months of November and December. Winter Seaball got a shout out for being a true mentor who not only helps kids stay on track academically in Tiger Den, but also makes sure they feel heard, valued, and supported. At the middle school, a shout out to Miss Whitehead for helping a partner teacher out with survey completion, Ms. Deloach and the student leadership team for providing fun for the teachers, Ms. Tushoff for her McDonald's Outstanding Educator Award, Ms. Berghoff for all her extra duties she has been rocking like the rock star she is, and shout out to Ms. Hastings. She had our art students participate in the Children's Art Festival. So those are our December shout outs. You guys have anything for CTA or me? All right. I hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Thank you all.
Thank you. All right, up next we have the Treasurer Finance Report. Ms. Dudek.
This report is for November. Started the month with a fund balance of $14.5 million. Received revenues of $1.1. Expenses a little over $2 million, and also transferring $2 million to special revenue fund to cover the deficit that was in that fund. Leaving us with an ending fund balance of $11.5 million. The cash and investment detail of the banks who are holding our money is listed below. You'll see next month we're starting to get some advances on our tax money, so the fund balance will start going back up. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you. All right, up next, Support Services Report. Mr. Crowell.
Good evening, Board. So just to recap our work session earlier before this meeting took place, we are in still the beginning stages of our long-range facility plan. Dates were shared at the last meeting, but we are continuing to push those dates out for our community. Meetings will start back up with staff on January 6th, as well as January 17th with face-to-face meetings with our architects and consultants. And then moving forward in February, March, April, and May, we will have our monthly internal and external meetings. Building-wise, for construction, CTC Welding Lab is moving along nicely. There is only one holdup where we are still waiting the switchgear for that building, just like we have had with multiple projects. However, completion for that project should be in February, first part of May. But we're utilizing temporary power sources from that campus to make sure everything is still on track, doesn't slow down. They're about 70% done with drywall and painting in there right now. CTC is also in the process of fabricating their own individual welding shop stations, which is really neat because our students in the program are building the equipment to further the program along, which what better real world experience can you get by putting that into action. So things are moving along nicely with that. As far as a little bit later on in the meeting, there's going to be a motion in front of you for the purchase of property just north of Central Academy. It is combined 3 lots, and I'll go into a little bit more detail for that. However, that'll really help alleviate the on-street parking that we have, and I think everything at that point for that new campus will be met for accommodations there. Questions, concerns, or comments, I'll be happy to address. Thank you.
Thank you. Up next, we have our board reports for the evening. And first is the MSBA delegate report. Dr. Fegley.
I do not have anything.
Thank you. Thank you. A++. Up next, we have our legislative report. Ms. Fledgy.
Nothing specific to the state of Missouri. Just interestingly, there was recently a suit brought in the state of Massachusetts by a group of parents against a reading curriculum company. In particular, if you've been in education for some time, you know that several years ago there was this push in reading education about basically phonics went away and it became more about cueing, like guessing what the word was rather than actually learning how to sound out the word. Kind of led to a bit of a literacy crisis overall. And so the suit is directed at that particular curriculum and basically the marketing, specifically the marketing of the curriculum, them saying that it was scientifically based. Did they know that what they were saying wasn't true? It will mostly be interesting to keep an eye on, just to see if it leads to some parameters and how curriculum is allowed to be marketed towards schools, especially because literacy has become such a thing, that we're constantly focusing on, as we should be. So just popped up, and I thought it was an interesting thing to share and to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. And lastly, our K Public School Foundation report. Do you have anything for
There
that?
is no report except just a reminder that the penguin party is February 8th.
Absolutely. Okay. Up next, we have the approval of consent agenda that was sent out previously for your review. We have 3 on there. We actually already approved the course prospectuses, funny enough. We shall do it twice. We have minutes from November 25th, 2024, payment of bills, and those course prospectuses. Would you like me to remove that, Mr. Payne?
No, we'll leave it.
Okay. Remove that from the tape. Any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Should have started there anyways. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Thank you. Up next, we have the business portion of our meeting. And first up is recommendation to authorize the superintendent or his designee to accept a proposal from among the 3 selected options and execute a contract on behalf of the district for stop-loss coverage for the employee group healthcare plan beginning January 1st, 2025, an amount not to exceed $1 million in annual premium costs. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, discussion.
This is just part of our health benefit package. We have found a stop-loss carrier. Actually, we found 3 different stop-loss carriers, and we felt that this one was going to be the best for our health plan.
Any
other
questions?
It's part of our health.
How's that transition overall going?
We have not started the transition
Oh,
yet.
okay,
It starts
great.
January 1. So that's why we have to have
going
this.
great right
Yeah,
now.
it's going wonderful. Actually, we're over the hump. We're over the hump of it. Am I saying that correctly? Mr. Payne, I think we're over the hump. We're just trying to get the details, and this is one of the details that has to
Perfect.
be completed.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That is approved. Thank you. And secondly, as you heard, we have the approval of purchase of real property. And the recommendation is to authorize the superintendent or his designee to execute a contract for the purchase of real property located near Central Academy at 1316 North Main Street in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, for a purchase price not to exceed $17,000, not including necessary closing costs and expenses. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, discussion.
So board, again, this is a property that is 1 lot north of our current Central Academy. So there's another piece of property that'll separate this parcel and our current parcel that we own. We were approached by this group with an original purchase price. We negotiated to $17,000. It is actually 3 lots that are combined, and they are feeling that it's unanimous on the negotiated price. They're feeling that it's a win for them and it's a win for us. And this will, again, help with on-street parking there, help alleviate that. You know, we come into this neighborhood as Cape Girardeau Public Schools. We want to be good stewards, good neighbors. We don't want to clog traffic up. And in the future, if you follow along with the city of Cape Girardeau plans, there's going to be a huge development that'll eventually take place potentially down there in the whole Red Star area with walking park, green area spaces, new boat ramps, all of that type of stuff. And our estimation, land is not going to get any cheaper down there. And if this is going to benefit us as a district, we have the opportunity to go for it. And it's our recommendation. But it is already gravelled. We need to do a little bit of weed killing and run a box blade through there, re-level it, but it'll also be connected to our campus through a city alleyway as well as the sidewalk. So staff and students who will park there are going to have, you know, a nice walk between the lot and the building. So, questions?
Do you think you'll look at paving it in the future?
That may be something we capture in the long range. When you pave it, it changes what you have to go by according to city code as well too. Because at that point you have sheet water when storms come, like this morning, and they hit the asphalt, you have to make sure everything's sloped properly or whatnot. So we do a cost analysis. We may tie it into a bigger asphalt project that we have, you know, where multiple parking lots are out and added in there as well too. So, you know, the one thing that I do have concerns about when it's a gravel lot, it's a little bit slicker when it comes to sleet and snow than regular asphalt. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I think here in Southeast Missouri, we're familiar with icy gravel roads. So, you know, that'll definitely be something, and we'll just prioritize it and see where it goes from there.
Any further questions? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Approval carries. Thank you. Up next, we have the second reading and adoption of several board policies, which we read as well at the last board meeting in November. So the recommendation here is to adopt the following board policies as recommended by MSBA and the Policy Review Committee: EBBC, GB-1, GBE, GCBDA, GDBDA, IGBA-1, IGBE-1, ILA, JFCL, and JG. Any questions? All right. Well, for tonight's board meeting, we will adopt these upon your approval. Can I get a motion? Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? These pass. Thank you. And lastly, information and proposals from board members. Do we have anything this evening? Well, I'd just like to say thank you for allowing me to suffer through this one with my voice. But also, just like Dr. Binion said, I really appreciate serving with each and every one of you. I think we have a tremendous board, a great district to serve. I think we work with the best of the best across CAO in our schools. I think we're seeing that in a lot of the results, even from this meeting is a great example. So appreciate everybody very much. I want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you guys next time. Oh, wait, hold on. We're not done. I'd like to take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Cook, Dr. Fegley, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? We are adjourned. You may now leave.